Hey everyone, so today we're doing lesson 6.3 on credit cards. I apologize in advance for my voice. I've been pretty sick, so the voice is coming in and out. But in class, we discussed everything that you read for homework on this page, and we discussed what you guys saw in the video here. We discussed what the typical interest rate for a credit card, if you have good credit, and this website that you did your research on, and we saw that it was a little over 20% interest rate. And then we discussed the answer to number 3. The average credit card debt held by the average American household was about $5,700. So if you missed that discussion in class, it was pretty good. I answered a lot of questions that you guys had about credit cards, and I pulled up my credit card statement and kind of showed you what it looked like every single month. And so I encourage you to come talk to me outside of class if you have any questions. During this video, I really just want to go through the 2 problems that we did in class on Brittany and Wilma and show you how we used Excel to answer these questions. So the first question is Brittany Pender is 17-year-old high school junior. Her grandparents gave her a car last summer when she got her driver's license, but last week when she went to drive home from her part-time job, it wouldn't start. Her parents had taken it to a dealership and they reported that the car needs a new transmission. It will cost $4,788 to fix the car. Brittany doesn't have that kind of money and her parents don't either, so they're going to put it on a credit card. Brittany's parents know they won't be able to pay this off quickly, so they're going to pay the minimum payment every month until it is paid off. They have pretty good credit, so their interest rate is 20.31%. That's what we saw as the average interest rate. And the credit card charges a minimum payment of 3% of the balance or $25, whichever is highest. This was a big part of our discussion in class on how that minimum payment is decided upon each month. So the question is, how long will it take Brittany's parents to pay off this card if they only pay the listed minimum payment? So let's go to our Excel spreadsheet and let's talk about, what are the things we want to put in our key that are fixed. The first thing is the charge. In this case, it's only going to be one charge, but sometimes it's multiple charges. They're going to put $4,788 on this credit card. Their interest rate is going to be fixed at 20.31%. And it looks like we're going to fix the minimum payment as well. That is going to be $25 is potentially what the minimum payment is. And it looks like from the minimum payment, they're going to charge 3% of the balance. And that might change potentially. So I'm going to put, percent of B for percent of balance and type in 3%. So those are the things that are going to go on my key. You guys know me. I'm going to go ahead and change my font to Cambria, which is kind of my favorite. And I like to center all my cells. I'm going to go ahead and change this a little bigger. And I'm going to make my key a little more distinguished. Put some all borders in there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is let's build the month column. So starting in month 0, because that's going to be when the charge is made. And then I'm going to generate a list of months going up by 1. The question is, how long will it take Brittany's parents to pay off this loan? So I'm just going to go out to 1 year, I think, 12 months. I'm going to start there. And now let's talk about our balance. And let's start to build this balance. So in month 0, the balance is just equal to the charges. So the charges have been made. And I also want to point out that I had 2 students, Mac and Neil, kindly tell me that if a car needs a new transmission, it will start. And so there's a huge flaw in my Brittany problem here. I sincerely apologize. Yeah, I just don't speak car. My bad. All right, so now let's talk about this balance in month 1. So first, they're going to charge interest. So they're going to take the previous balance, and when they charge interest, we're going to multiply by 1 to keep its original value, plus my interest rate divided by 12, and make sure that you have those double parentheses in so you get the right order of operations. And then you hopefully are going to make a payment. Brittany's family is going to make a payment, so we're going to subtract out that payment. What's different here from the car loans that we looked at in 6.2 is you don't have a fixed payment. It is over here highlighted in yellow. It is either going to be 3% of the previous balance or $25, whichever is higher. I'm going to gather that 3% of this $4,788 is higher, but I want to be able to put it in one formula. And Excel has a function that will allow me to do this. It's called the max function. So I'm going to say take the max of, and then I generate a list of the things I want it to take a maximum of, separated by commas. So it's either 3% of the previous balance. Well, the previous balance is here in cell B2, and to gather 3% of that, I'm going to multiply by this 0.03 for 3%, comma, or $25, whichever is higher. And now I need to think about the things whenever I drag this down, what do I want to roll and what do I want to stay? I definitely want my rate to stay. It's going to be fixed, so I'm going to put a $sign here. My balance is really the only thing I want to roll, these B2s that are blue. This right here, this 3% needs to be fixed, and the minimum payment needs to be fixed. So we fix those things, press enter, and we see after the first month, Brittany's parents still owe $4,725.40. Let's take a look at the interest. This is going to be new that we do. Let's calculate the interest as we go so you can see it building up. So in the first month, you make the charge. There's no interest in the 0th month. I shouldn't say the first month, but in the 0th month, no interest. But it starts to gather here after 1 month has accumulated. So it is going to be equal to the previous balance. Now the previous balance is going to be here in cell B2 times, I'm just going to have to multiply by that interest rate divided by 12. When I drag this down, I do want to fix that interest rate again. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can see here, Brittany's parents in this first month paid $81 in interest. And notice, $81 did not come off of that payment right there. You can see that it's, gosh, a little over 50 bucks came off, maybe a little closer to 60. We could even come over here if we wanted to and just say equals this minus this. See exactly $62.60 came off the principal of the balance, and $81 was in interest. So the minimum payment that month was the sum of these two things. I can add those up just to see what that number was, just to give you an idea of how this is working. So when Brittany's parents got that first bill, the minimum payment listed was $143.64. So they just paid that exactly. $62.60 came off the principal. That's what came off of here. That's the difference here. And $81 of that went to interest. That just goes straight to the credit card company, and they never see it again. Pretty depressing. Okay, so let's drag this down and let's see the progress that they make after making those minimum payments listed for a year. And you can see that's ouch, like ouch, ouch, ouch. Let's look at the interest column. You see it should go down little by little. This number in interest should go down, and it does. But you can see, let's make a little extra. After 1 year, Brittany's parents owe this $4,088.50, right? But let's look at how much has come off of the balance. So essentially, almost $700 have come off of the balance. Let's see how much they've paid in interest. Let's sum up all these numbers. All right, so after 1 year, a little less than $700 coming off of the balance, but they've paid $905 in interest. That is just crazy. So total, the dollars that have come out of their pocket after 1 year is the sum of these two numbers. They've paid $1,604.97, and $700 has come off the balance. It's just craziness. So what we're looking for, how long will it take Brittany's parents to pay off this credit card? I am looking for when does this number get to 0? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep dragging this down until I get to 0. And you can see it's taken me a while. Almost there. Let's see. 192.70, almost there. All right, it happened. You can see here, I don't actually see a 0. What you see is the balance going from a positive balance to a negative balance. So there it is. It gets paid off in this month right here. So let's come on up here. Let's drag down my month so I can see exactly what month that is. Should be 183 because I think it ended at 185. Yep, there it is. So I can see 183 months total. It's probably a little like over 15 years. I can figure that out just by dividing by 12. And there I can see how much interest is paid each month. So you can see how as those payments get smaller and smaller and smaller, the interest gets smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, so I'm going to split the screen so I can see this a little better. You're freezing the panes. All right. So it takes a total, the answer to the question is it takes a total of 183 months to pay off this credit card. Total months, 183 is how I'm answering that question. If you were looking at total years, you could say that is equal to 183 divided by 12. You can see it takes 15 years and about 3 months because it's a quarter of another year. And let's calculate just for fun the total interest paid over the course of this loan by summing up my interest column. I'm just going to take the sum of all of these cells. So I can see Brittany's parents are paying a total of $5,522.90. And then if you think about how much their total dollars paid, they paid all this in interest and they paid off the original charge that was made. So they're paying for this transmission over $10,000 to get this new transmission, and it's taking them over 15 years to pay off this credit card. So the main reason that we want to talk about this scenario is just so you understand if you make those minimum payments, how long it's going to take, how the interest continues to accrue month after month after month, and how that balance really doesn't change all that much even though you're paying a good bit to the credit card every month. So now we want to talk about Wilma. So I'm going to go to a new sheet. I might even title this, rename it Brittany. Someone asked me who spells their name like that with Brittany, and my answer is Britney Spears, the most popular Brittany ever. All right, let's talk about Wilma. So Wilma's gotten herself into a little bit of a pickle. As a new college graduate, she got a good job with a decent salary, but she didn't set a budget and has been using a credit card for the past year whenever she didn't have enough money at the end of each month to pay all of her expenses. So clearly she did not take our lesson on 6.1 on budgeting, and she's just kind of been doing whatever she wants and charging it at the end of every month whenever she runs out of money. After 1 year, her credit card balance is $2,420. Yikes. Since she doesn't have a solid credit score, her interest rate is 33.85%. I would gather if her interest rate is that high, she probably just did not pay it, even the minimum payment, one of those months. And that's how she got that fun credit rating. Or not credit rating, interest rate. She realizes she has to get some help to pay this debt off as soon as possible. She seeks advice from a financial advisor who helps her decide what monthly payment she should use to pay off this debt in 24 total months. What is the monthly payment that Wilma should use? So here on this example, it's going to be a little different because she's deciding she's going to pay more than that listed minimum payment. She is coming in with a game plan. So let's set aside all of the things in my key. So the charges are here. That is $2,420. Her interest rate is 33.85%. There is no minimum payment here. In this problem, she is going to make a minimum payment. We don't know what it is. Let's see if like $75 will do the trick. All right, now we're going to set up our months. She's paying this off in 24 total months. Don't forget to start with 0. And let's go down to 24. And now let's talk about my balance. All right, so in the first month, it's just the charges. She's going to the financial advisor. They set up a plan, and this is going to look just like the car loan did. Look, we got the previous balance times the interest charged. So 1 plus my rate divided by 12 minus my payment. And we're going to see if $75 does the trick. Remember, that's just a guess. I have to fix my interest rate and my payment because those are the things that I want to stay whenever I drag this down, but I want my balance to roll. So here we go. Let's see if $75 is going to do the trick. Not quite. So you can see, yeah, not much difference if she's only paying $75. She's going to have to pay a good bit more. I'm going to go ahead and freeze my panes so I can see both my objective here and my by changing by cell here in cell E3. And I'm going to go ahead and go to solver. So let's see if it's going to, there it is. So I'm going to solver. My parameters, my objective is cell B26. I want it to be a value of 0 by changing this payment. And I know it's going to have to go up some. Hit solve. Do I want to keep the solution? I do. And there it is. If Wilma pays $140.15 every month for 24 months, she is going to pay this credit card off. I'm curious to know how many total dollars Wilma pays. So, total dollars paid. So let's see, she makes this payment for 24 months. So she pays a total of $3,363.63. So now we can calculate her total interest. It's going to be equal to the total dollars paid minus the original debt. So she pays $943.63 in interest. I also want to show you, we could calculate interest now in a third column. Just remember, you have no interest here in this first month that the charges are made. Then you start to accumulate interest in that first month. So you say previous balance, which is here is cell B2, times interest rate divided by 12. I'm going to roll this down, make sure your interest rate is fixed. I can roll this down to the 24th month. And then I can just find the sum of all of the interest. And it should match this $943. Let's make sure it does. And it does. So you guys now have another way to calculate interest if you want to do an interest column and then just take the sum of that. This method, however, to calculate interest, you can really only do if you can calculate the total dollars paid. And that's if you have this fixed payment that you actually know of. In the Brittany scenario, I don't know what the fixed payment is because remember here, the payment is going to be the maximum of either $25 or 3% of the previous balance, whichever is higher. And so I don't know exactly what that is. I could come off and make a column, I suppose, if you were interested. You could come off to the side, maybe have it match up, and let it equal to the maximum of 3% of the previous balance. So that would be here, comma, or 25, whatever's higher. Make sure you fix these items. And so then you could take this and roll it down and see what those payments are. I'm curious when it goes to 25. So you can see, maybe I should not split my screen. Let's unfreeze the panes. So I've dragged it down. You can see all of these are when the 3% is the highest, because you can see those numbers are over 25. And then you can see here in month, this row right here, in month 134, that is when it becomes $25 is higher, and that's what they're going to get charged. So you could make a third column and say this is going to be the actual listed minimum payment. You could do that if you wanted to, and then in this part of the formula, you can just, instead of saying max of this, you could have this over here in a different column if you wanted. And that's another option for you. So I hope after these two exercises with Brittany and Wilma, you understand how credit cards work, especially with the discussion that we had in class. Again, go back if you're interested in how interest accrues and watch this video. I think it is a really good one to show how the interest accrues right when charges are made, and it gives you a more realistic view of how an average daily balance is calculated at the end of each month, and you get interest paid. Your interest is charged based on that. So watch that if you're interested, if you haven't watched it yet, and go ahead and complete problem set 6.3.